5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Weekend confirmed.
Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
You know what? That was fun. Did you see what Ed Boon said about that on Twitter? He's like, I knew that they were going to use footage of that because I guess they got permission from Warner Brothers. He's like, I really wish they didn't use that fatality.
Well, that's exactly. I mean, that's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
To show the
that
worst
fatality. I mean, I love Mortal Kombat. That fatality is going way too far.
Wait, which one?
That's the whole point.
The one where is it
it's
Smoke?
in the game.
Is it Smoke or Noob Sabot?
No, it's
Noob
Sonya
Saibot?
who gets killed.
No. But who's the one who actually does it?
I don't know. It's a
What's-
tag team kill.
Wait, what's
right?
the fatality?
It's the one where the guy splits into two and grabs the person from both sides and like rips them in half.
It
I think it's Noob.
rips Sonya like
That
slowly,
is Noob Saibot, yeah.
slowly in half.
Yeah.
Slowly, and like her like.
Pronunciation matters because I got in trouble for mispronouncing.
There's some
a
bad
Street Fighter
ones.
character.
I think it's no, it's not Liu Kang. I think it's Shao Kahn that has one. Wait, who's the guy with the hat again? I'm seeing
Kung
his
Lao.
face. Yes, Kung Lao. Has the one where he throws the hat down and turns into a buzzsaw.
Oh,
and
see,
he...
that's an awesome fatality though. I like
What's
that
the
one.
what's
I mean,
the
I think
what's the
the-
difference?
I think it's the visual imagery of you being ripped in half, and the sound that because then you see her face,
But
and
you
then
know
her
what? You
face
see
gets
that
ripped.
there's a lot of other games you see that in. Like the Darkness 2 has that exact
Sure.
same thing.
The point that they were making, which I agree with, is that all that is fine for them, but then if her nipple slipped out, it would be like, oh, alert the children.
Regulate away.
You know, it's like, come on.
That is true.
Come on.
It's
Double
kind of
But I
like
mean,
a
the
catch
thing that they don't point
yeah.
out there is that I mean, it doesn't work in his bit, but it doesn't point out that the ESA has a much better, ESRB has a much better track record of protecting, you know, their content from people than any other industry does. They self-regulate.
Right.
None of that stuff was
Absolutely, yeah.
mentioned in that piece, which is
True.
surprising because I've heard that he does play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Which I think he says in the interview with Bill Crystal later.
I mean, yeah, I think he basically says, you know, I don't know if this affects children, but it's not a good thing
But that's
to have
that's
children look at.
you guys remember
Which
that's
I
how
agree.
Mortal Kombat got put on the map. Like that's when the kind
Yeah,
of like
they are
the
the
mass
reason why
audience
the
opened their
ESRB
eyes to video games.
Right.
Was like people were like, "Have you seen this Mortal Kombat game these kids are playing? It's so bloody and gross."
I mean, the ESRB was born out of that franchise. The rating system was born out of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That was the game that started it, right? So, I mean, it stands to reason that that would be a game that's brought up when they're talking about the
Litigate
situation. Exactly.
There are so many more disgusting and gross, violent games out there. They just
That
want to
doesn't
pick
mean-
one of the most
I mean-
successful ones.
Yeah. Well, it has to have both. It has to be disgusting and successful, or else it doesn't matter
Right.
That's true.
to them.
I guess some people try to compare, like, what's the difference between that and, like, the Saw movies, where you see people do or
I
get
think the
in those
movies are
situations.
far worse because they're
I mean,
actual
you're seeing
people.
real people
Yeah.
going through those situations.
Like,
I've never seen any of the Saw movies.
Well,
oh,
you're
be
not
glad
so
you
much.
didn't. I almost physically threw up at the beginning of the first one, and I haven't watched any of them.
I actually
since.
heard they're not as bad as I've
The first one's really good because it's like the first Blair Witch movie. It's more psychological than anything
Right,
else.
it's not like
no desire to
overtly
see them.
disgusting. Like
Hostel's the bad one, right?
Hostel's
Hostel's
horrible.
gross. Yeah.
Ugh,
Hostel's really gross.
it's just gruesome.
No interest in torture porn.
No,
neither.
No interest in torture porn.
Me
I find it
neither.
interesting listening to you guys talk about the Mortal Kombat and the television thing. Like, what? Whatever. I'm not even gonna get indignant about it. I'm over arguing about it. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's stupid.
But if
Stupid.
this
Well,
conversation was a Connect
what is
game,
stupid?
Either we want to live in a society where we tell the government to take care of us because we're not fucking old enough to handle our own shit, or we're not. One way or the other. Which way do you want it? Do you want the government to make decisions about what is and is not acceptable for media to consume?
No, I think we all agree on
Right.
that point. That
yeah,
we
well,
don't.
I thought you were
The thing
arguing that because they use such a bad. I thought you guys were arguing that fatality.
no, that was what Ed Boon
awful.
said. That's what Ed Boon said on Twitter. That he said that he wished that they hadn't used that.
I'm almost glad that
specific
I'm almost glad that they used the worst one.
Right.
Like, don't pull punches.
I think you can have both those things in your head at the same time. I
Both
think
which
you can,
things?
You can say, yes, I want to have freedom of speech, and I support it, and I support it to its end, but I also think I don't want kids seeing that stuff.
Right.
But I don't think you should, I'm not saying you should regulate against kids seeing it, but...
Yeah, the problem though that I have
Or
with it
litigate,
is that
excuse
when
me.
they talk about, like, when it goes to trial and all these, like, politicians are talking about it, no one ever mentions the fact that the ESRB has such a good track record and that they've
I know,
violence
that's
has gone
frustrating,
down versus
What do you mean by
games going
What do
up.
you mean by the ESRB has a good track record?
They released data, I think, a couple of months ago that said that it wasn't them; it was a third-party company went and tried to purchase R-rated movies.
So the retailers have a good.
Right, no.
The ESRB doesn't have anything to do with that.
No, but I mean, like, the self-regulatory body of the ESRB that regulates those games is doing a good job making sure that those types of
You mean stores?
content.
Because the ESRB doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, we're talking about two different things now.
Yeah, but the ESRB has a heavy influence on how the packaging is created, signage, that kind of thing, and the study shows that video games specifically, not just the ESRB, but the medium of video games, has a better track record of control of sales of mature content,
which is a retailer function.
But you can't say like it's not like the retailers know that that's the ESRB had to go to the retailers and train those retailers to know that this is how their system works.
Dude, the ESRB is not training anybody.
I mean, you're taking the words way too literally. I'm saying that they created.
They're just establishing a scale. What's happening is that the retailers are so scared of public response over video games that they've beaten their associates over the head with, you don't sell this shit. It's okay if you sell an R-rated movie to a kid, but don't you dare sell an M-rated game to them. Because it's more foo. It's more bullshit, political,
I don't think either
overreaction foo.
I'm not happy when I see little kids in R-rated movies either.
And it happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
It does,
For me, the issue is parenting and the, sort of this. The reason I brought it up was this culture that says, you can eviscerate the girl like that, but if her boob falls out, that, oh my god, nudity. Ah! I don't know.
I'm just tired of like Western culture of like, oh, the reason why people are violent is because of this. Like, there's always has to have this like qualifier of like, oh, people are violent because they play video games or because they listen to rock music, or it's like Footloose. You know what I mean? Like, kids
I'm violent because I dance.
Kids died because they listen to rock and roll music. Let's ban rock and roll music.
Can we talk for a second about how terrible?
No, we can't because we're not even going to talk about it.
This is really far away.
No. We're not going to talk about that, nor are we going to talk about Teen Wolf.
Like this the whole time.
No.
No.
They ruined Teen Wolf.
Wait till
I hear you were doing like this whole bit, and I'm thinking about Teen Wolf.
That's okay. I was trying to be seductive, but it's all right.
I'm sorry, I have a filter, and you didn't make the, filter.
You can't use my own joke against me. I'm sorry.
Didn't make the filter. I'm just saying. What did make the filter this week is all of our what you've been playing games, starting with Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon, the best game of the week.
Shit.
And after we talk about that,
game of the week.
After we talk about that for a couple hours, it's really not going to matter because that is the best game of the week.
Whatever.
Haters.
Have you played any of the downloadable stuff this week?
Yeah. I played a lot of Dungeon Siege 3. I also picked back up Final Fantasy 13. I've been playing Gears 2 co-op, and we've all been playing the Uncharted 3 beta and Tiny Tower for iOS. Jeff's been playing Trenched, the Uncharted beta, Witcher 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish it.
Witcher 2! People will be so happy. Ocarina of Time, which we have a question in the warning about. Zav is evidently not liking games anymore because he's only been playing the Uncharted 3 beta.
I was sick, so I tried not to do anything that involved moving.
And Andrea.
So video games didn't.
I was gonna play Dance Central, but then
you were gonna get your Child of Eden on.
Yeah. Open all my blinds.
And Andrea's been on Transformers Dark of the Moon, Uncharted 3 beta, Trenched, and Dungeon Siege 3. So it sounds like we have a lot of role-playing game talk. So maybe we'll do like a segment of role-playing games. And
I polled the audience. I phoned a friend. I polled the audience and asked, I said, it's the summer lull. What do you guys want us to talk about? Overwhelming majority of tweets that I got back, they want to talk about the Steam sales. So maybe we should mention the Steam sales. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
What do we talk about?
How they have lots of games for super cheap.
Games.
Yeah, but I mean, we could talk about.
You could have bought
And that
Jamestown for
achievement
$5
system.
yesterday.
Yeah,
$5.
Well, they had that achievement system that's attached to it as well.
But I mean, like the specific games are on sale. There's some good stuff.
We could have mentioned Direct to Drive is doing a deal of the day this month.
Fuck that.
Fucking shill.
Just saying they're paying our bills.
Alright.
And then, so for warning stuff, we have some feedback and also some Twitter questions. Kind of interesting stuff. Zav has the new take on the news, and Andrea didn't write in the point. You said you were going to put something on there last night.
I did. I put it on there yesterday.
ESA Gamer Stats.
Where?
I brought it's
Right here.
under.
It's right above
B.
Billy's contribution.
I don't know who Billy is, but I brought the handbook.
I don't know who
I don't know
Billy
who
is.
Billy is.
That was awesome.
Plan B. Yes. Plan B.
Andrea,
We should
ESA
start
gamer
titling
stats.
these episodes.
Yes.
We should start titling them. Because the perfect
did you see
title would
this?
be I don't
My God, look, she brought it in color.
Color.
Did you photocopy that in color?
No, I printed it.
Oh.
You printed it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Printed. Look at they have like pie
Somebody
charts
works in
and
an
stuff.
office.
Exactly.
Andrea
Yeah,
loves
like
facts and
graphs.
hates trees.
Oh, this does look like a fascinating episode of our show.
So
We're
this
gonna
pie
make it
graph
interesting, I
looks
promise.
slightly like Pac-Man.
Today on Weekend
Andrea-
Confirmed.
Andrea brought in a
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I like it. No, it's good. It's good. It's good to have facts because we don't usually have them.
I like that pie chart. Like this much of the pie chart looks like Pac-Man. This part.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it to
Do it.
I brought.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
we've been doing guests. Garnett, you're a guest. Andrew, you're a guest. We've been having guests on the Totally Rad show because Alex has been in France. So we'll have to get you on. We'll have to get you on. I asked you, but there was times when you couldn't come. Anyway, but we had one guest come in and bring us a gift. It was a female guest.
Okay.
Kristen brought in.
Can you talk about this on the...
She brought us a gift of Star Trek porn.
What?
So our new policy is everybody has to bring
Star Trek based porn or just porn?
So, let me ask you a question. In Star Trek porn...
No, I was going to say Star Trek
1970s based parody porn.
Wait, hold on. What exactly happens to the red shirt in a Star Trek porn?
Exactly. They still get shot, but it's different. All week, everybody took your waitress.
Wow. And on that note...
Seriously.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We can confirm.
Ignition. Liftoff.